Hey, this is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden, and this is the Narcissist Pandemic. I'm going to teach you something that came out during COVID, and I'm not sure how many people know about it, but when I saw it, this is a really hard topic for me because it's really important that we get this out there. We were doing a lot of webcams during COVID, and it was a time period when we all were forced to stay home. And for a lot of people, that meant staying home with narcissists, staying home with toxic people, staying home in bad situations. And because we were on webcam, we did not have the ability to speak. We did not have the ability to say, help. So at some point, somewhere, someone came up with this hand signal. And it means, help, I am trapped. Get me the hell out. And it's very subtle. It's silent. And it was something visible that during a webcam, during a Zoom call, somebody could do that very quietly and action could be taken on the outside to help extract them. And the best thing we can do is just get this out there to people who need it. And more importantly, to communicate what it means if you see it. If you are in a business meeting in Zoom and you've got an abusive situation where you can't get out and you can drop one of those, it is thumb encased over, representing that this is you trapped and that's you unable to get out. So if you can drop that kind of a hand signal in the middle of a Zoom meeting, anything at all, and then we can just help move this out there and let people know that it has become, because of COVID, a massive communication for people who need help and are incapable to safely say, I need help, get me out of here, please extract me. That's it. So that is one of the things. It doesn't matter which hand. If you see it, it's just quick, simple, and immediately start calling authorities and doing what you can to start getting this person help. And when it comes to an extraction, silence, secrecy is huge. The minute they find out that you're up to something, they go after usually the children. They go after whatever they can to make sure you're imagining it. They immediately move in to try and take over the situation so that when officials show up, they're right there and they're first in line and they are gaslighting you. They are already at work. Oh, you know what? They do this all the time. He's an angry child. The bullshit. I got to hear the excuses. I got to hear. And it is imperative. I'm going to be releasing some videos to show you what it looks like on the inside. When you have an abusive husband, in my case, husband, abusive partner, who manipulates and manages the sequence in such a way that you can't get out. And then you think that you just have a rogue son, when in fact your son has been trying to communicate to you the whole time. But the gaslighting was so severe. The delusions and the confusion were so manipulative that you, like the officials, completely had the wool pulled over your eyes. It is a fucking dangerous situation to be in. Absolutely fucking dangerous situation. And I'm going to go ahead and do some videos over the next few days and show you what it looks like when you're living with a narcissist, how to recognize the signs from the inside. Now, I'm going to warn you, I am going to be very raw with this information. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is going to trigger a lot of people. So before I do that, I'm going to do a few videos on how to prepare yourself when you realize that you are in a narcissistic situation, because you're going to be coming out of Stockholm Syndrome. And when you come out of Stockholm Syndrome, you have this perspective shift that makes you realize you're in a prison. And suddenly you don't look at your husband anymore as a husband, you see him as a warden. And suddenly you realize you're a trapped animal. And don't panic, calm. There's a process and you can get out. There is a method. And I'm going to be going over how to extract yourself from an abusive situation, what it looks like, what signs to look for, what you can expect through the extraction process. Now, here's where a lot of women slingshot. And the slingshot is the problem. The slingshot is when you extract a woman, you get her out, and then she is so overwhelmed with guilt that she goes back. A woman in that kind of a situation absolutely requires a master. Her entire identity is enveloped in the master. So that when you take away the narcissist, when she finally gets away from him, she goes through a period of withdrawal. This is like a drug. This is exactly like a drug. There is no identity. I got lucky. I read psych books when I was a kid. And so I had the beginnings of the work in place. When you take somebody, when you extract yourself, when you extract anyone out of a situation like that, it is imperative that they have an identity first. Because when you have an identity first, you have an identity to fall back on instead of an empty void. When you pull somebody out of an extraction situation and they have no identity, you've in essence taken away their identity. You have taken away their knowing. You have taken away their belonging. They're going to go back because they need the knowing and the belonging. And if they don't go back, they find the next one. So in order to, you basically have to supplant the narcissist. And in order to do that, you have to define yourself. You have to start nurturing your own identity and you have to start nurturing your own belonging separate from the narcissist. That way, when you are extracted from the situation, you will have something to fall back onto. And you will be more focused on defending yourself and getting yourself built up and defended rather than putting yourself in a situation where you just seek another master. And that's really it. People who are in that situation require to serve. They associate being loved with serving, which is why they're in the situation to begin with. And when you get into this mentality of, I have to serve in order to be loved, somebody has to need me in order to be loved, that is really when it really comes down on you differently. It really changes the way everything is done here. So there's a lot of preliminary work to an extraction. There's a lot of things that need to be put in place prior to an extraction to ensure that you're not going to slingshot. And it's the slingshot that, again, that's where toxic psychology really fucks that up, which is why we see so many battered women going back to the abuser, is because they did not properly prepare them for the extraction by providing them with a solid identity first. Identity and a belonging. You need both. So I'm going to go ahead and put together a few videos on the extraction process and preparation for the extraction. I'm also going to go over basically a how to cope once you realize you're with a narcissist and how to keep yourself from losing your cool and how to basically keep your head about you. And then I'm going to flip it around after that and talk about the actual extraction process. So it's going to be a whole thing on narcissism. So thank you so much. And if you like shit like this, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want even more shit like this, take a look at my newsletter. And if you want detailed, organized instructions for a full plan on how to get shit like this, take a look at my master classes. They are intense. Thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.